Mary Collins Foundation have created a free resource for practitioners who work directly with children and young people impacted by technology-assisted child sexual abuse or TACSA to support their recovery.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Can you tell me more about the resource?
Yes, of course. The resource has been developed with practitioner knowledge, research in the field, and those with lived experience. We created it to help practitioners working with children who have been sexually harmed, to aid their recovery, and it's trauma-focused with an emphasis on doing no further harm. This isn't a replacement for therapy or counseling, but can help people on their recovery journey.
So what age group can the resource be used with?
There are two resources, one aimed at young people aged 13 to 16 and another aimed at 9 to 12. One thing anyone using the resource must be mindful of is that children develop at different rates, so it is important to take into consideration their capacity to understand and not just their chronological age.
What does the resource look like and how do you use it?
It's comprised of 4 stages, with clear session overviews. Stage 1, the opening session, is about the young person and practitioner getting to know each other, which helps to build the trust and rapport between them.
That's great, because it is so important that a child feels comfortable and begins to build a connection with the person they are working with. What happens in stage 2?
Well, this includes the foundation sessions. These are 3 sessions that the child or young person will work through with the practitioner, regardless of what they have experienced. During this stage, the children and young people will be able to talk about and explore relationships, dealing with change and managing and understanding emotions.
I can see why those are important foundation sessions. How do we build on this in the next stage?
Stage 3 includes targeted pick and mix sessions that allows the children and young people, alongside the practitioner, to choose sessions tailored to meet their recovery needs.
How does that work?
You must use a minimum of 3 of the pick and mix targeted sessions. But if you have more time to work alongside a child or young person, then you can build with extra sessions, or even revisit past ones.
What should I do if I notice a change in body language or verbal responses from the child or young person, and I am worried about them?
That's a really important question to ask. Noticing how a child or young person behaves throughout your session is a vital skill, because behavior is a form of communication, and they may be telling you something without the use of words. Every session in the resource always ends with a selected looking after yourself exercise. These have been included to allow the child to build a toolbox of coping strategies, which can be used at any time.
So, what happens once I've worked through all of our pick and mix sessions with the child or young person?
That's when the closing session happens, stage 4. What makes us, us? This is a really important session, and must be done to ensure the young person has closure. It provides the opportunity to reflect on how far the young person has come in their recovery, and the strategies they can use as self-care going forward.
Is there any other advice you can give me before I start to use the resource?
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked. Connection. The success of this resource relies on the connection between the practitioner and the young person. It has been written in a way that builds rapport, which promotes connection, something that is vital to recovery. Choice and empowerment. We know that often children who have been harmed through TACSA have had elements of control taken from them, and have had little choice in what has happened to them. Use this resource to empower the child or young person to take back choice and control, and rebuild their self-esteem. Confidentiality. Explain to the child or young person, using age-appropriate language, what you mean by confidentiality and safeguarding. You must also reassure the child that anything written or recorded during the sessions will be kept in a secure place. Make sure the child or young person is fully informed at every stage, so that they can provide true consent. Reassurance. If you are aware that explicit images of the child have been shared, one of the first things you need to do is reassure them that you have not, and will never, see those images. If a practitioner has seen an image of a child, then someone else must work with them. Context. The practitioner must take into consideration what else might be happening in the life of the child or young person prior to them meeting you and when they leave you. Consistency. If you are unable to meet, then do not ask another colleague to step in. Be open with the young person and rearrange the session. Time and place. Consider when and where you meet the child or young person and the potential impact it can have on them. For example, if you are meeting them in school during lesson time, are their friends going to ask them where they've been or what they've been doing?
Thanks. It's clear just how important it is for the practitioner to really think about how the resource is used, and to always keep the child and young person at the heart of everything they do.
Absolutely. The practitioner will need to protect the time they give to the young person, all the while being flexible in responding to their needs. It is important to be calm and reflective in offering an open and accepting safe space for each child and young person. They also need to be very mindful of the language they use, as it is important for the child or young person to not feel blamed or responsible for what has happened.
This all sounds so good. I am so glad that the Mary Collins Foundation created this resource. I have never seen anything like it before. I can already see how useful this will be for practitioners in supporting children and young people recovering from TACSA.